I'm Jacob Hornberger, Libertarian candidate for president. The most evil agency in U.S. history is undoubtedly the Central Intelligence Agency. The CIA is part of what we call the national security state, the totalitarian form of governmental structure that was called into existence after World War II and that replaced, without even the semblance of a constitutional amendment, the limited government republic on which our nation was founded. Like the other two parts of the national security state, the Pentagon and the CIA wields omnipotent powers, especially the power of assassination. And it has exercised its power from the very beginning. It was already planning state-sponsored assassinations. Several years ago, a document was uncovered entitled A Study of Assassination. It was an assassination manual that the CIA was using as far back as 1952. And we know that they were assassinating foreign leaders and foreign individuals, all on the basis of protecting national security. Yes, I know. People say, oh, Jacob, no, it's just a conspiracy theory. The CIA is a nice, benign, innocent organization. Nonsense. They orchestrated the assassination of the president of the Congo, Patrice Lumumba. They orchestrated the kidnapping and assassination of General Rene Schneider, the head of all armed forces in Chile in the 1970s. They incited the coup that took place in Chile that left the democratically elected president Salvador Allende dead. They targeted Jacobo Arbenz, the democratically elected president of Guatemala, with assassination. And of course, deep down, we all know that they were the ones that effected this regime change on November 22nd, 1963, where they took out the life of our president, John F. Kennedy. And why would they do such a thing? Well, because it's all about national security. That whenever they assassinate any of these figures, in their minds, they're protecting national security. They think that's their job. And when Kennedy decided to do the unforgivable, make friends with Russia, establish friendly relations with Russia, move America away from this Cold War racket, and establish peaceful and harmonious relations with Cuba, Russia, and the rest of the communist world, they could not allow that to stand. It would have made them irrelevant. There would have been never a war on terrorism. There never would have been this whole hoopla with Russia today, another Cold War against China, if Kennedy had won that war that the national security establishment was waging against him. But he lost it. And that's where we are today, with really perpetual war under this national security state. When in the 1990s, when the Assassination Records Review Board uncovered evidence establishing beyond any reasonable doubt that they had conducted a fraudulent autopsy on the very evening of the assassination, the military did, the gig was up. That's when it was over. That's when anybody who studies the autopsy can conclude beyond any reasonable doubt that there is criminal culpability in the Kennedy assassination on the part of the national security establishment. And this is outlined in books that I've published and written, specifically The Kennedy Autopsy, and my most recent book, An Encounter with Evil, the Abraham Zapruder story. It's time that we come to grips with this heritage, this negative heritage, this dark heritage, sordid heritage of America's national security state way of life. In order to get America back on the right road, we need to understand this dark heritage, and we need to rid ourselves of it. This is an organization that knowingly hired Nazis after World War II. As far as I'm concerned, it should have been abolished at that moment. But then they went into MK Ultra, medical experiments on unsuspecting Americans. Imagine that. And along with all the state-sponsored assassinations, the torture, the indefinite detention, all of which has been upheld, including against American citizens, all of which has been upheld by the federal judiciary. There is no way to reconcile a free society and a moral society, a just society, with an agency like the Central Intelligence Agency. We need to rid our society of this evil, malignant, deadly, and destructive organization. Our freedom and well-being depends on it. I'm Jacob Hornberger, Libertarian candidate for president.